Okay. We're going to call the executive committee meeting Wednesday, November 20th to order. Roll call
Gary Mertig,
here.
Pat Kinney,
Here.
Bill Metzinger, Brad Ray,
Here.
Martin Vitek.
Here.
Has anyone heard from Bill?
Yes, Bill
just walked in.
Bill's just walked in now.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Lori. Okay. Yeah. Public comments? No public here. Anybody online? None at the moment. Okay, approval of the minutes of October 29th.
We need approval of the agenda.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to be fast. We need a motion to approve the agenda.
Oh.
No.
This is Bill Metzinger. I'll make a motion. We approve the agenda.
Brad Ray will second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the agenda. No other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Then public comments, no one so far. So now we need a motion to approve the council meeting minutes or the committee meeting minutes of October 29th.
Marty Vitek, I'll move that we approve the minutes.
Marty Vitek makes a motion.
Brad Ray will second.
Brad Ray seconds. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Discussion items, approval of amended sheriff's deputy contract.
Okay, I'm just coming to it right here. All we're doing is amending the health insurance section of the contract. Previously it said that we during the term of the contract, we paid 90% of their premium. And they pay 10% with the new insurance. The union agreed to do the 88-12 split, and that's reflected in section B, or Article 14, Section 1, Clause B on page 16 of the agreement. So it's just the deputies agreeing to the new health insurance.
Bill?
I have a question. This is from January 1st of 2024
Correct.
until January 1st, 2026?
Yes.
Okay. And that doesn't include anybody at the jail or no?
No, only the sheriff's deputies are allowed to be unionized.
Okay. That answers my question.
Pat?
If we start at the bottom of page 4 with step 2 on the written test, I read that.
Mr. Kinney, that part's already been approved by the county board.
Yeah, I know, but I want to ask a question.
Okay.
So when you read that, there's a written test. It's worth 30 points. The highest score is awarded 30 points. So let's say someone gets 25 out of 30. They use that score and say you have 30. Then the other scores are basically a ratio of that 30. So say the 25 out of 30, that person's assigned 30. If someone has 20 points, then they get 20 over 25 times 30, and that's their score. And my question to you folks is, this is just language here to see if we are reading it the same way. The top of page 5, the end of that paragraph, it says applicants must attain 70% of 30-point test maximum or 21 points to continue in the process. Is that 21 points a reference to the original test with 30 points? Or is that the score after the highest applicant was given 30 and scores were adjusted after that?
The way I read that is it's after the 30 because the test probably isn't out of 30 points, it's probably out of 100 and then they converted to 30.
Brian, could you answer that question?
I'm just trying to read over it real quick.
Because what could happen is, let's say the highest score, and let's say there's 30 questions, we don't know. Those of us sitting here approving this, we don't know. Let's say there's 30 questions, and the highest score anybody gets is 4 correct out of 30. That person is assigned a score of 30, and then someone else, their score is 3 out of 30. So they get 3/4 of 30, which is 27, or 22.5, which is over 21. So that person with a score out of 3 out of 30 would be considered qualified. But yet if the reference is to the original 30 points, well, neither one is qualified. So do we sitting here looking at this contract understand the reference to 21 out of 30, original test score or adjusted score after the highest person is given the
It's
30?
just saying
I-
to continue in the process, you need 70% or 21 points to continue.
Yep, is
on.
that based on the original test score or is that on the adjusted test score after the highest person is awarded 30 and everyone else thereafter, therefore a fraction of
Based on
what
the
the highest?
maximum of 30,
Is that, so the original test score of 30?
I think that's how I'm reading it.
So, I understand we're not going to change this language today, but I think as a note going forward, just in terms of if someone's contesting things, if we're not completely clear on what that means, someone should make a note that in the future contract, they rewrite that language so it is clear. So the paragraph in the top of 5 ends with applicants must attain 70% of the 30 points test maximum or 21 points. Given that that is at the end of the paragraph, if you look at what it's referring to or modifying, it would suggest by location that is referring to the adjusted score. If we put it like the second sentence at the bottom of page 4, then it would make it much more clear that it refers to the original score. So if we don't understand that, and there's a challenge to the hiring process, if we don't understand that, then legally, that doesn't leave the county in as good a spot as we could. So I think, Max Lindsay or others, before we get this far next time in 2 years, we should look at that language. It's really not clear.
Okay. Point taken. Now we have the approval of the amended sheriff's deputy contract in regards to the health insurance. Is there a motion?
Brad Ray will move to approve.
Brad Reed moves, second.
Marty Vitek, I'll second it.
Marty seconds. Questions? Other concerns? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Maybe we should make a note that our attorney looks in that for the next contract.
The attorney did look at this original contract. Our attorney did look at this contract.
Approval of hiring chief deputy.
Brian? Brian, do you want to take this one?
Sure. So we interviewed one of the applicants. His name is David Dawson. He's with Bayfield County. He's been with them for 12 years. And prior to that, he was a correctional officer in Milwaukee County. for 4
Brian,
years.
it's extremely hard to hear you.
I know this usually happens. There's something Dan did on his end last time. Why I'm not being heard. 'Cause I know.
Yeah,
mine
I
usually-
just turned up the volume in here, that's all.
Okay. I'm good now?
Yep. Yes.
Okay. So we interviewed David Dawson. He's currently a deputy for the last 12 years for Bayfield County as an investigator. He has prior supervisor experience there. He's been there for, like I said, 12 years. Prior to that, he was a correctional officer for Milwaukee County for 4 years. He has extensive training and supervision, investigations, death, sexual assaults. He's well-rounded and experienced in an entire job. With the plus of correctional, so he understands both sides of the job, in my opinion. He was interviewed, did very well. Recommending him to be hired for a hopeful start date of January 6th of 2025.
Any questions of Brian?
This is Bill Metzinger. Did anybody from the department itself apply for the position?
No.
Is there other questions? Marty.
Was there a screening process, initially from the applicants?
Marty wanted to know if there was a screening process of the pool of applicants.
As far as Dave Dawson,
Yes,
yeah, he's given a background investigation that's currently being done, you know, with conditional offer based on his, background investigation being complete.
he did interview with Sheriff Zupke, myself, and Chairman Mertig. Yeah.
This is Pat. As far as residency, he is allowed to live where he wants to live. Is that correct?
Yes, so we've talked about that. Basically, he lives in Washburn. I know in the past, the sheriffs had written up something, a side letter based on policy where he has discretion as long as he puts it in their file in writing that they're allowed to live a certain miles out of county. That's what we would do with him. In the future, you know, I would like to change the ordinance just to say that there shouldn't be a residency requirement because most of the state doesn't require that for these type of positions.
Are you allowed under state law to make it more restrictive than what the state has as far as where people can live in that job?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, essential personnel can be required to live within, I think it's 10 miles of the jurisdiction they work in.
So if you did want to make it more restrictive, is your thought that this person would be grandfathered in on the current location, or would that not be we're roughly 10 miles from Washburn?
Yeah, I mean, he'll be grandfather, and like I said, I think me writing up something for his personnel file proving that where he lives. I don't think I want to make it restriction that in the future, you know, in case, like I said, I think most people are, we have a few other deputies that live outside the county that we allow to happen and at a reasonable distance.
Yeah, one of the concerns I have is simply if we start restricting where people live, we're not going to have any applicants. It's not like we had 50 applicants for this job. You know, we used to get dozens and dozens of people applying, and now we're getting very few.
Exactly.
So
I have 4 openings on deputy side, and I've gotten a couple applicants in 6 months. So it's been pretty tough. Bayfield County has the same thing. They got 7 openings, no applicants.
So the reason I ask is from some past experience where a person lived became an issue, which also makes it then harder to hire people. So in this case, if this person's approved, would we want to, in a motion, approve grandfathering him in for his current residence so that he knows that and it doesn't become an issue later if for some reason, you know, someone related to the county wants to revisit that, so he just knows for his own job security?
I think that's fair.
I mean, then he can stay where he's at and he knows it without having to wonder if he's going to have to move.
This is Bill. I have another question. How long is this appointment good for? And does it have anything to do with the longevity of the sheriff?
No, he's just like any other employee at will, per our county handbook.
His job is subject to the will of the county board. So the county board can keep him on as long as they want or remove him if they want.
Any other questions? Otherwise, is there a motion?
This is Bill. I make a motion that we approve the recommendation of the sheriff and hire the
Do you
individual,
want to add
David
the-
Dawson.
David Dawson,
do you want to add the residency to allow him?
and to add the resolution with
To allow him to live at the current address.
so he can live at the current address. Yeah, he does not need to be a resident of Ashland County.
Good. Is there a second? Marty Vitek seconds. Other questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carried. Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you. Bye now.
Well,
Ryan, are you coming back for the county board?
Okay, I can. I didn't know.
Yeah, can you just redo this again for them?
Okay, will do.
Thank you.
Yep, but
Okay, Administrator updates?
I don't really have much other than, most of you already know Supervisor Stark resigned, effective immediately. Mike Stark,
Mike Starkey moved off the island.
yeah. So, after we inform the county board today, we'll put an ad in the newspaper. And if anybody wants a voter list to see if they can find somebody, I'll be happy to give them one.
It's the island
And
portion of the city.
yeah, it's the island and the part of the city right by the Hotel Schwamigan and Ordock.
Include the homeless?
If they vote, yes, if that's their residence, yes, it does.
Maybe I should wait for the county board meeting to say this, but.
Use the microphone, please.
The Highbridge Post Office project is coming along pretty nicely. They're
Yeah.
digging a lot of dirt up there, and I think that Matt and
Dan,
Dan, I'll be okay. Matt and Dan should be commended for their efforts to get that project going, because it's a big relief to the people who live there, like me.
right,
Yeah.
good. Next meeting date, we'll,
I don't anticipate needing one this year, but
okay.
something could come up. If so, I'll let you know.
Anything else?
The other employees, we've already ratified their agreement,
Correct.
and that ends January 2026, January 1st. It's for the entire 25.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Just,
You're talking about the deputies?
no, the regular employees of Ashland County. I know they don't have a union, but we've already adopted that as far as their increase, as far as salary.
Yeah, we adopted a step increase
Yes.
as part of the budget. So, so all county employees who were employed with Ashland County as of June 30th, 2023, get a step increase or 2.5% on January 1st. Those employed after June 23 get a step increase on their anniversary date. So everyone will get one next year. It's just a question of when.
So everybody's salaries that works for Ashland County has been set already.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Oh, yeah, there's one other thing I'd like to add. The dispatch merger is going to happen in about less than a month from now. Ashland County Dispatch will be moving over there in the middle of December. I think it's the 17th. So they've been all given offers of employment and the merger will happen.
Good. Any other questions? Otherwise, we need a motion to adjourn.
This is Pat. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion by Pat,
Marty Vitek, I'll second it.
second by Marty. All those in favor say aye. We're adjourned. Can't